We'll be live.
Bringing you the best hikmah from a shirky point of view.
Oh
Like that?
wow!
Is that not bad?
Yes,
Like good? It's like I figured I'd try just kind of writing,
that was
we'll expand a little.
amazing.
Yeah, okay.
I
All right.
loved
Yeah.
it. That was beautiful. Oh my! Bringing you the best hikmah from a shirky point of view. That is perfect. That is like you don't even need to put a contest. That was the best one. That is.
What? You heard it, folks.
Yeah. Did you think about that yourself?
I literally, yeah. Just this morning, I was
Oh.
just kind of sitting around, and I was like, "Gosh, I need something, and I want to do something kind of silly," and it just kind of
Genius.
popped in the brain, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna
Okay.
try it. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it. I loved it. That was genius. That's perfect. All right, guys, we're going to be answering questions, specifically Patreon questions. And if we have time at the end, we're going to post a link on the community tab for only YouTube members to see. And then YouTube members can come up and talk to us live on air if they wish to. Okay. But first, we're going to answer Patreon questions and super chats. Right. So if you want us to answer your questions, either become a patron on Patreon, link in the description, or use the super chat function, and we will answer it. Hi, D. And D is saying, hi, infidels. I love that. Oh, and here's another version. Hello, my fellow Islamophobes. Back at you, Bruce. Yeah.
Love it.
All right, guys. So I have lost access to streaming on Facebook because I posted on our Facebook page something that was about a sign that Christians hold in the streets about how gay people need to be, I don't know, I'm not going to even say it because social media is stupid. And it was a way to show like what the Bible is, how backward and homophobic the Bible is. But obviously Facebook is stupid, so Facebook decided that post was me saying that, even though I was saying the post specifically was clarifying on the meme itself, was saying like showing how bad the Bible is, like that this is bad, right? Yeah. So I can't stream on Facebook for a month.
Wow.
So I had to post our picture questions on YouTube here, right? So it's like that. So guys, I might even continue just doing it on YouTube, but you need to make your questions shorter because on YouTube it won't fit, right? So a lot of questions were long today, and I had to shorten them. But I would appreciate if you do that yourself on Patreon and post a very, very short version of your questions going forward, right? So here's the first question. I can't even put the name of the patron anymore because it doesn't fit, right? This one was by Asian American. So the question is, modern Southern police forces descend from slave catchers. When, if ever, can criminal or immoral organizations become legitimate one? I think there's an article missing there. Illegitimate.
Yes. No. When can the bad organizations become good? Because like the police forces, okay. Because the context was about the Yakuza helping during the Fukushima disaster in Japan, which, by the way, I didn't know this. This was really cool because I started looking further into like the help that the Yakuza has given over the years. Did you know that that word Yakuza comes from a losing hand in a particular style of Japanese betting game? And that's why they took the name, is because it basically means like the losers. Like, I didn't know that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. That's a really cool piece of info there.
I didn't know.
But yeah, I would say just quickly, when, if ever, can, immoral organizations become moral organizations? I would probably say the answer is around the time that they stop doing the immoral things that they start doing the moral ones, right? Like any organization can change. Just because it has crappy roots doesn't mean that what it is today is still crap, right? That's so
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I don't I don't even understand when people judge an organization based on its history. Like, okay, well, they seem to be okay now, so I don't know what the hell. How is that relevant? Unless you could show, that it continued.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Unless you can show that like it's still in that same capacity, which like I would argue, yeah, there are police forces in the South of the United States that you can make that claim. You can say, oh my gosh, look at these bad roots. They're still employing a lot of these tactics today. Yeah, totally.
But I don't even know if the bad things they do has anything to do with their roots. Maybe the bad things they do is just the bad things they do, and you could just judge them because they're bad.
So yes, so I would say that it's not necessarily that the roots lead to the bad things today, but if you can show that there were bad roots and that they're continuing that today, you could then say, oh, okay,
it's really hard to show that unless they have like a written culture or something, or like for example, let's say if the police had a constitution, okay, that they wrote when they were slave catchers, and now they're still referring to that as a guideline. I would like, okay, their roots seem to be having an influence now. But given that they don't have that, I would just judge anything crappy they do based on the fact that it's crappy.
Yeah. I think that's an easier thing to do for sure, and one that probably has more value, you know? Like, hey, this company was terrible back in the 1840s, and it's like, oh, okay, it's 2022, so are they bad now? And it's like, no, they're fantastic. It's like, oh, well, screw it. Like,
yeah.
But
yeah, okay. All right, let me take this down. Let's go to this one. Oh yeah, I heard about this. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, and I read a little bit into.
Yeah, so the question is thoughts on China's new AI rules. What are the rules? What are the new rules?
So there was something I think that Gaijin had posted with it.
Yeah,
just talking a little bit. Yeah. And I would say, you know, at least in part, I do think that there's value in us thinking about the various regulations that should be put in place with AI, right? There's the UN has already at least had preliminary discussions on AI weapons in war, and like how we as a global society will kind of regulate that and stuff. So I think it's good that we're at least talking about it. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's the CCP that's stepping out front first, but
I don't think you can regulate this thing.
So I think it's one of those things where, yeah, ultimately you're not going to be able to have the control on it, the handle on it that you may want. But I think it's good that we at the very least have some safeguards in place, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to stop people from making deep fakes. You're not going to be able to stop people from making AI art or AI journalism or poetry or whatever. You're not going to be able to stop that. But I think it's valuable to at least have some things in place in case, so that if there is somebody using these materials to do particularly harmful things, you have some sort of, system in place to hold them accountable. Like if somebody's just spreading a whole crap ton of AI misinformation and it's just like fake videos of, I don't know, name a person that's at the head of a global conspiracy type thing, But yeah, I think ultimately it's something that you can't, this is once the cat's out of the bag, it's not going back in. So
there's no way you could regulate this. I don't know.
They have I think they have a decent idea with the whole concept of like the watermarks and stuff. I don't know how that's going to completely translate through. But I think, I do think, again, there's at least some things that I saw in here that were like, okay, I feel like that's, at least kind of worth continuing to look at. Again, of all the governments in the world that stepped out in the front with this, I'm not excited that it's the CCP. Yeah. So it'd be like if Vladimir Putin came out tomorrow and was just like, hey, we're just gonna put all these rules in place for like AI weapons, or I'd be like, oh, I guess that's good, but also I wish it was
What do you think the solution is to support artists if there's no way to stop this?
So I don't know, and it's possible that it's possible that the system that we're in now is a completely different landscape for making money through art, right? It's possible that we're no longer in a space where we were many years ago, where somebody does just have the ability to create something entirely from their brain, their imagination, and put it out there to the world and receive financial compensation for the ability of others to access and view that art. We might just be in a boat now where that's not really feasible. And the way that you have to, recoup your financial investment as an artist is not solely through selling your art. Now, what exactly that looks like, I don't know, but that's,
The amazing thing is that we assume that AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, but some jobs are safe, and we guessed that those jobs are safe are the creative ones.
Yeah.
Right? We thought that art is
and journalism
the last one to go. Right?
Yeah.
But apparently we were so wrong. It seems to be the first one to go.
Yeah. And we're about to lose. We're probably about to lose not only journalists, but also like sports commentators and just a whole swath of, because they've already shown how successful these programs in their earliest of stages are at like answering questions on the fly and stuff like this. And they do provide really accurate information, and they're able to do it with, a greater speed and greater accuracy, because they literally can just be connected to the internet.
Asian Americans saying nursing and doctors are maybe the last to go.
Maybe,
actually,
but
nursing maybe, doctors no.
That's what I was gonna say. You could have the AI figure out what the problem is and just have a human being administer the actual treatment.
And actually, we have shown studies that there are AI that do surgeries with less mistakes and cleaner cuts than doctors, right?
I know.
So AI can recognize the disease the sickness much better than doctors, and it can even do surgery better than doctors. The reason why nursing is safer than being a doctor is because that human connection, I think, that AI is missing, right? I think the jobs that might be safest are the jobs that require people want a human touch, specifically want the human touch, right?
Yes.
So elderly care, child care, nursing, maybe streamers, actually. Maybe because the reason why people watch streamers, maybe, I don't know, actually.
No, I agree though. I mean, I think there is, and that's
people don't watch the news people don't watch streaming just for the news. They are
for the personality of the individual.
For the personality of the individual.
And that's kind of why I was saying, maybe there's another way that you, as an artist or a creative type, monetize, the time that you're giving, just like various streamers do, right? Where they technically put out content, they put out, pre-recorded videos and edited videos, but they aren't actually making any money off of those videos. All the money comes from individuals going through Patreon or going through, whatever other thing, right? So yeah, maybe it just has to evolve, and maybe that's just the boat that we're in, fortunately or unfortunately. I mean, but yeah, literally every one of the categories out there that people were like, don't worry, artificial intelligence won't take your jobs. It's like, we've already shown in every single one of those sectors, yes, they actually will. Because retail was a big one. People thought, oh no, we have to have human beings at a grocery store, and then we started putting robots in some, and people liked it better and sales went up. So
this could be a good thing if all jobs are taken. Okay, if some jobs are taken, that's bad for those people. Okay, but if all jobs are taken, then we're actually kind of fine, because you don't even need a job,
right?
Because AI is everything will be dirt cheap anyways. So I mean, if AI takes every job, then everything would not even be cheap; it would be free. At that point,
because what would be the purpose of trading money, right? Why would we at that point?
It would
Now,
be
I
so
mean,
abundant.
most likely the way that it's going to turn out is that the individuals who are in power right now with a bunch of money and the ability to institute these types of, technologies in their
Right.
in their businesses, like those people will control the use of AI and stuff. But whatever. I mean, I think eventually we'll all probably be jobless, but
We just got a 20. Speaking of money, Lily Paget LA just gave us $20 super chat. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Okay, by the way, given how so many people seem to be hating AI art in the live chat, do you want to see some AI art?
Yeah, of course. I have seen some, and it's really good. Some of it's really weird, but
well, speaking of weird, this is me as a goat.
Okay. I really like that you have your shirt still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But then you've got like what looks like a jacket with like sheep wool on it.
Oh, it's sheep. Yes. This is me as a sheep. Yes. Lamb of God.
Good. That's so good. Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
Because wait, what? Yeah, this is AI art. This is me as a sheep. Okay, and I have more actually, if you want.
And it really got the hair well, man. It really got that.
Right.
Really did a good job.
This is me as the devil.
Oh man.
Have you seen this? I posted these on Facebook. You didn't see them? Yeah.
No, I saw on the news. I saw them on the news, but I was listening more than I was watching. So,
well, this is me as I don't know what, probably a chipmunk.
Look at your eyes.
I'm so sad. I don't know why I'm so sad.
Do you have two sets of ears there? Do you have ears on the top?
Oh yeah, you're right. I have 2 sets of ears. I think I really need like a peanut or something because it's very sad right now. Wait, I have more. This is me as a queen.
Nice. You look very good, honestly.
Right. So that's my feminine version of me, and here's a more masculine version of me.
You should have been fighting the lion.
Yeah, look, AI does these in like
I love it.
In minutes actually. Yeah. And here's the old version of me. I'm actually happy with this one.
You look good. Yeah. You look good.
I like the old me. Yeah.
Look good, man. You look like you're deep in thought, like you're deeply studying like some new verses from the Quran that we just discovered or something,
I look like I'm in a lab. Oh, I think this is I got a $2 super chat for the satanic version of me.
Nice.
But I really like this one because I can see myself as an old person and I'm comfortable with it. So yeah, not bad.
Nice.
Let me close all these art. I don't know. People say you can't even call it art, but I don't know what you call it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, like what do you call art? It's a guy duct taped a banana to a wall once, and that was art. So I don't know. What's art?
Yeah,
like I know it's a dumb question, but like
So some people are saying art is communication between humans, right? Like a human communicating with another human through.
So animals can't make art. Is a beaver dam not artistic? Could it not be? Could somebody not watch the dance of a bird and say that's artistic?
Well, no, because are they trying to communicate?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that definition of art is problematic. I think.
Okay, well, that's what they're saying. I'm not saying if it's true. Yeah. So they're saying AI this is not art because there's no communication happening between the artist and the. So
I don't know. I think art is. I mean, it's a bad definition. I don't disagree, but I think art is one of those things where it's just like, if you find it artistic, you find it artistic, and that's just the way. If you find it, if you look at something and it's pretty to you. Like there was a whole.
Yeah, I mean that's just, no. So there's it's one thing to find it pretty, it's another thing to find it art because it was not meant to be art. That's what they're saying.
Oh, there has to be an intention component. You think there has to be this intention of making something as art.
So Zagreus is saying the person who wrote the algorithm
That's
was
the art
intended.
of it.
That's the art. Okay.
See, I don't know. I think,
but
if
now
you,
the algorithm of AI is now also being written by AI. So I don't
yeah,
know
and
about that.
if you plug in information to the algorithm that then spits out an image, I would say that's art. I would say that's art, right?
Right.
Like, because
Right.
you show that to other people, at that point it's like, yeah, that seems arty to me, right? I mean, I'm definitely not an expert on like fine art, so you can see what I've got. So.
Well, I mean, there's a cow there, so that's good.
Stained glass
Yeah.
cow. So
Yes. So Lilypad LA, thank you for the $10 super chat. Very generous today. Thank you so much. We actually need the support, so thank you. Saying an artist friend of mine said that this new software uses real artists' work as base material to feed into the AI and without compensation. Right. So that's the main contention people have with this AI. But the people who are defending it, they say even in real world, even without AI, if the work is transformative enough, is that what the word is? Then that is accepted as, like, you don't compensate the artist. So for example, if you take a whole bunch of art and mix it together and create an art of artists, right, even though you use other people's art, legally it's been transformative enough for you for that to be a new original work, right? So they say, given that how that is allowed before AI, this AI generated art is also transformative enough for it to, even though it's using other people's art, for it to not be legally questionable. Morally, I don't know, but they think legally it is.
Yeah, and I think that the difference is in part the fact that the algorithm, one of the things that it has to do in order to work, right, is that it has to collect lots and lots of different examples. So like when we train an algorithm to play a game, right, one of the things that it has to do is it has to just try playing the game in a bunch of different ways to try out different moves and different pathways of winning and so forth. And so one of the ways that you train AI when it comes to pictures is just by showing it pictures. And yeah, I mean, I understand, like, well, they should be compensated for their work. Yes, I'm with that. But again, like I said at the beginning, we may just be in a space now where this type of content, this type of creative work just isn't going to be able to be monetized in the same way. This is a big problem that all media has had over the last 20 years. That's why we had the huge case about Napster 20 years ago. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to know exactly how to navigate this space because, yeah, it does kind of feel like artists are getting screwed. But are artists getting screwed with streaming services? Well, a lot of people would argue yes. A lot of people would say no, they kind of figured all that out and it's better now. A lot of people would say no, they were never being screwed. More people are accessing their art, and the way that they actually make their money is by going on tour. Other people would say no, tours lose money. I don't know. It's not easy to be somebody who makes all your money from creating art or poetry or anything. So,
Right. All right. Let's go to the next question. How does Shia Iran teach the Shahnameh, if at all, and how do they fit it with the Quran? Right. So Shahnameh means the Book of the Kings. It's a book very famous in Iran, written by Ferdowsi, and it's an alternative. It's loved and even worshipped by many Iranians who are, by most Iranians, but especially by the ones who are extreme, like nationalists, right, or patriotic. I don't know which one you want to use, right? And it is so loved and is so revered in such a to the extent that some people, like I remember back in Iran, my uncle uses it on the New Year table, which is called the Hafseen, uses that instead of the Quran. So it's Ferdowsi, and his book Shahnameh is seen as the main book that represents Iranian culture, in opposition to the Quran. Right? So you have the people who are more Islamically minded, who see Quran as a very revered book, right? But a lot of people, Iranians who are more nationalistic or patriotic, which whatever you want to say, they see that the Quran is an Arabic culture. And these people, again, that's not fair because we have Arab Iranians as well, but they see this as something foreign, that's something that is not Iranian, something that is not Iranian culture. And Shahnameh is what represents Iranian culture, right? And it's a book of poetry about kings, as the name suggests. Shahnameh, a book of the kings, right? And heroes and rebellion against unfit rulers, right? So not surprisingly, that part of the book that is about rebellion against unfit rulers is not the part that we learned in school. So we did study the Shahnameh in school in Iran, but mostly the stories of Rustam, which is a hero in the book who goes and has adventures and battles monsters and demons and villains and stuff like that. And it has a very poetic part that he kills his own son, not knowing it's his son. So it's very poetic. We learn about it in school. But the other part of the book, which is a famous part of the book, which is Zahak. Zahak is a ruler that a lot of people think represents the Arabs in the book, right? Because Ferdowsi was like anti-Arab, to be fair, right? And he was also a secret Zoroastrian. So he lived at the time that Iran was Islamic, but a lot of people suggest that he was secretly Zoroastrian. And there are a lot of hints in his book. They suggest that he is not very happy about Islam and the Islamic takeover of Iran, right? Anyways. Okay, so I don't want to give into conspiracies, but this is like Zahak, right? Zahak is like, it was the evil ruler who has on his shoulders, there have two snakes on his shoulders.
He looks pretty badass. I'm going to be honest. That's a pretty cool looking dude. Like,
yeah. So this is the villain of the Shahnameh, right?
Are the snakes like coming out of his shoulders, or does he just like have snakes sitting on his shoulders? Like they're attached to him?
They're attached to him.
Oh, right? Yeah. I mean, still cool, but yeah. Just feel like that'd be difficult to find clothing that fits, you know?
Yes. They tried to. So before Zahak, apparently the human race only ate vegetables and fruits, right?
Really?
But, yes. So this is, and one day the devil comes into the castle of Zahak, right? As a cook, the devil, right? And he cooks with meat for Zahak. And that's how the world gets corrupted, because the human race started eating meat and the world gets corrupted.
Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know what the devil does, by the way. And these two snakes grow out of Zahak's shoulders. And every time they cut it, the snake grows back again. Like the snakes were always harassing him. They're attacking everybody that comes. Even Zahak is being attacked by the snakes, right? So they bring the devil, and the devil tells them that the only way to calm the snakes is to take young Iranian men and take out their brains and feed the snakes. So you have to feed the brains of young Iranians to the snakes so that they calm down, right? So that they don't harass everybody. So you can't get rid of the snakes, but you could calm them down. So Zahak is a king that is always killing young Iranians to feed these snakes, right?
I gotta be honest. If I was in Zahak's position, I'd be pretty pissed off too. Like that sounds like a total bummer. Like for the rest of your life. Like,
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Okay.
But this is why now they're comparing Khamenei to Zahak, because he's killing young people in Iran,
Oh.
and it's also killing the knowledge and intelligence and progress which represents the young Iranian brains, like being fed, like they could say that Khamenei is the Zahak of our time, right? And Kaveh al-Hangar was the person who defeated Zahak and killed him, right? So there's a beautiful story of rebellion against this unfit ruler, and a lot of, how the regime uses the story of Hussein against Yazid in Karbala as a sign of rebellion, as a sign of like stirring up people's emotions, as a way to fight against unfit rulers, right? So Hussein, which is like a Shia figure, right? His story is constantly used by Muslims as a way to encourage people to rebel against unfit rulers. That was used against the Shah back in the revolution. It was used in the Iran-Iraq war. It has been used constantly throughout Shia Islam history, right?
Really?
But Iranians who don't have that much of a religious leaning, or not at all, they use the Hawk's rebellion, Kaveh's rebellion against the Hawk as a way to stir up rebellion against unfit rulers, right? So just like before, the Shah of Iran was the Yazid, and Khomeini was the Hussein of his time, okay? Now Khamenei is the Zahak of his time, and the people, the heroes are now the Kavehs of their time.
I like that. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool I mean, I'm assuming it's like myth. Like, I doubt there was ever actually a person with snakes that grew out of their shoulders.
Yeah, I doubt that as well.
Okay, well, cool. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page on that. But that's a really interesting story, man.
Like, yeah. So it's interesting that in Shah, now that I think about it back, it's interesting that we never learned about Zahak and Kaveh in school. We learned about Rustam, okay, and his so. Yeah, I mean, we didn't learn much. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's see what we have. All right, here's a question. What will you say are the similarities and differences between America's upcoming ban on TikTok and PRC's ban on Google and Facebook?
Yeah. Have you heard about the United States Congress putting in a bipartisan bill that will ultimately ban the use of TikTok in the United States? It's very recent. They've kind of talked about it for a little bit, like back even when Trump was in office. There was a mention of possibly doing this. So there are definitely
but the main difference is one of them is protecting people from their information being stolen.
Yeah.
The other one is protecting people from knowledge and information, right? From getting information that is not in line with the CCP. So
the similarities are in the sense that the governments in both of those places want to ban certain online platforms, and that's about where the similarities stop, because the reasons that the CCP ban Facebook and Google is because they don't play by the CCP's rules, which require you to not post content that they specifically say that they don't like or shows their government in a negative light, and B, and this is where the United States is coming from, the Chinese government has a policy that says if you are a tech company that works within their borders, you have to provide the government of China with a backdoor to all of the information. And that's exactly what you were just saying, is that this ban on TikTok is related to whether or not the Chinese government is going to be able to access people's personal information, which is against the law in the United States. And we don't have that with companies like Google and Facebook and Twitter and stuff. So,
do you think it's a good idea to ban TikTok?
It depends on the level of It depends on the level of maliciousness going on with ByteDance. They're you know, the company that owns TikTok is ByteDance in China. It depends on the amount of information that the Chinese government is specifically requesting and how often. If at the end of the day, it's a lot and it's like all the time, then it probably seems more reasonable, in my opinion. If it ultimately is about the same as what's going on with the amount of information that like Facebook gets from United States citizens, well, then we're already doing that. So I don't know how that's much worse. If it's not at all, then it's like, oh well, this just seems like an overreaction. I would be surprised, at least in part, that the CCP believes that TikTok would be the way to acquire the most important and damning information on United States citizens. I would have assumed other platforms, but this is where, you know, the whole point of the committees in the Congress and stuff in the United States is there is an entire committee that's supposed to just focus on like foreign powers and their involvement in the United States and the security of the United States citizens based on that involvement. So they have access to information that we don't have. And if their information is telling them that, yes, the CCP is really heavily involved and constantly scooping up this data in mass, I would say probably, yeah, that is. And
So
go ahead.
yeah, Mariam is. So here's another difference. The company has admitted that CCP can access
But they
the
have
data
to.
at any time.
They have to they have to allow that if they are going to be based in the
So
country of China. That's
yeah, I
the rule.
think that would make it the ban like a security issue.
That's what I
Like
would. Yes, 100%.
right.
So
So I think like they don't have any choice. Like
right,
because Asian American is saying that maybe that should be the consumer's choice, but this is if the CCP has access to
right,
American
right, and
data now, this becomes a national security issue.
yes,
The
and we have
CCP is not.
lots of
Yeah.
precedents in the United States and the world at large to say that a government does have the authority to stop access in certain areas of you know, the economy if there are certain risks associated with it, right? Like we can come in and we don't say consumer's choice to somebody that's like lying about products, right? We come in and we regulate that because of the risk of the consumers from those, you know, falsehoods. Just
Mm.
like we come in and we say, hey, you have been providing a service and you haven't disclosed that you're going to be actively doing all these other things with this information that will cause harm to the consumer. Again, we come in, we regulate those things. So yeah,
Yeah.
if the argument of national security seems to be to me one that's fairly sound, with more information from the higher levels of government that we, you know, have in the United States Congress, I would argue they probably do have some decent information that points to this. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I guess you know, no more fun TikTok stuff, but we all survived when Vine crashed, so we'll probably come up with something else before too long.
Something I don't remember saying it is because of CCP that we are not getting season 2 of Chinese drama on YouTube.
That sounds right.
I don't. Okay.
I don't know what Chinese dramas you're watching, but if they're really good, like please list out some in the chat. And we'll start watching. I always need new shows. So.
I think we already answered this question with the transformative. So
yeah.
I think we already answered this one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's go to this one. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Muslim world going crazy after Morocco reached Semites comparing to the Umayyad conquest of Spain in history? Wait, so they compared France going against Morocco to the Umayyad conquest of Spain?
It's a bit much, right?
Who did that?
That's a bit of an exaggeration, you know, just a bit. I mean, I'm no historian, Armin, but
the Higgs wasn't. It couldn't fit here, but people were suggesting that Ilan Omar was saying that as well. No, I don't believe she would say something like that.
I think she was very much in support and doing the whole kind of you know, the Muslim community, hooray. You know, that type of, what is it? The
Let me see what Elon Omar says, because I
Ummah,
think
right? What's the what do you call the Muslim community again? The
Ummah.
Ummah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like woo, go Ummah. We're great. You know?
Okay, she's not going crazy. She's just saying congratulations, Morocco. Morocco, let's go. I think that's fair.
That sounds reasonable.
I mean, yeah, I think like people.
There are some people, like I read you that tweet before the show about this person that was like, hey, you know, dear France, you know, if Morocco wins, like let's say we make a deal, you get rid of the hijab ban and like stop all that Islamophobia or whatever. Like, so there were people that were definitely going far with it. I don't think this goes too far, which is congratulations, Morocco. What a brilliant, joyful game. That seems pretty standard.
Yeah, that seems pretty fine.
Yeah.
But
if she had said something like, this shows the true power of the message of Allah, then I would be like, oh, okay, that's probably,
that's crazy.
yeah, that's probably not cool.
Okay, so who's this other person? Ms. Ozil?
Yeah, I didn't
Mesut
recognize.
Ozil?
Yeah, I didn't recognize.
So I don't know who that is, but let me see if that person. Okay, I think it's fair. Like, I think it's fair. History still made the team. Oh, here. History still made the team. Tried everything. No shame into nice performance. All Moroccans can be incredibly proud.
Yeah,
I don't know
have,
who this person.
Yeah, don't have any problem with that either.
Yeah.
I would agree. And it is like, again, you know, say what you will. It was a historic moment. No country from the continent of Africa has ever made it that far in the 100 some odd years of World Cup history. That's a big deal. Like, that is a big deal. So, you know, I mean, again, do I think that, and that's kind of exactly where Higgs boson is going. Like, I would say that when it comes to the people that are doing the, you know, go Morocco, you're doing so great, you're fighting for the Islamic community, like that's, you know, the point at which for it's, well, that's silly, you know. But
yeah. Okay, here. Proud, what a team, what an achievement for the African continent and the Muslim world. Great to see such a fairy tale is still possible in modern football. This will give so many people so much power and hope. I must say, I'm actually kind of. Is it weird that I'm happy that a secular France, because I don't follow football much, but I'm kind of gleeful. I'm kind of like happy that secular France won over Morocco.
This was my
Islamic
issue.
Morocco.
Yeah, this was my issue the whole time when we were, you know, the week up to the World Cup, and people were saying, you know, don't watch. And I said, but I have to watch just enough to see Qatar crash out, right? Because this is what happens at these stages of international games. These little wins and victories and losses, there is ramifications in the culture, you know, at large. And yeah, like, obviously Morocco going all the way to a stage that no other team from their area of the world has ever done. Yeah, that's a big deal, and people are going to jump on that, you know? And people are going to try to ride that and be collectivist about it, because that's what we do, because that's what the World Cup is. I'm not on the freaking US men's soccer team, and yet when they win a game, I'm like, woo, America, you know? Like,
okay, but my reasons is not that, oh, we're secular, France is secular, therefore I support the secular side. Okay, here, the reason why I'm happy that France won, okay, is because if the argument, because every time a country that is Islamic wins, right, they use it as a sign that Allah did something, like, oh, this, you know, this is this shows that we are, the Islam side is right. Okay, so based on the same standards, okay, if the Islamic team winning, because you could be 100% sure, almost 100% sure, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that if Morocco won over France,
Mm-hmm.
this would be seen as a defeat of Allah's. This is Allah's work over crushing secular state. Okay,
Absolutely.
this is like the evil France has been
Yep.
shown that they are inferior,
Mm-hmm.
right, to the Islamic world,
Mm-hmm.
right? So given, and we have seen already that every time like a Muslim country wins over, like for example Pakistan winning or in cricket or something, this is seen as a sign. But it can't just work one way, right?
Yeah.
It has to work both ways,
you
right?
you
So
you've never seen Southern college football, have you, Armin? So
no,
you got no.
yeah, but let me finish this point. Let me finish this point. So, what do you say? What does this mean if France, that you guys hate so much, with all the secularism, has won over an Islamic country? What is Allah trying to tell you here? Like, what is the message here? Because I'm confused. Like, tell me, right? Like, I don't know, right? So there you go.
No,
Anyways,
I
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
I get what you're saying, and I
yeah.
watch you'll have a bad time most likely, Armin, but watch an SEC college football game and watch as the two teams sit opposite each other on their benches, furiously praying to the exact same freaking God for a miracle for their side. And when it does not come, we'll sit down and pray and thank that God for the opportunity to grow afterwards. So, I mean, I'm with you. I agree that it should cut both ways. It's like, oh my gosh, Allah loves us. That's why he saved my grandmother. And then it's like, oh no, your grandmother's dead. Allah hates you. But no, no, they won't do that. They won't. But no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But it was nice. It was a good game. It was a good game.
Was it? No.
Yeah.
Lily just gave us another $2 super chat. Lily is like very, very generous today. Thank you so much. Saying "Viva la secular France." What? Yep, I can agree with that. D is saying, I think some of you forgot to like the stream. Yes,
Wow.
guys, please everybody like the stream. Thank you very
Wow.
much for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, be ashamed. Why are you not liking?
We're just gonna sit here in silence until you all like the stream. Just kidding.
Higgs boson is noticing your shirt.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a good band.
And also Zegros is saying, have you seen the Moroccans riot all over France after World Cup loss against France?
Oh.
No, I have not seen that.
I have
you
not
seen
heard
that?
I had not heard that. That's frustrating.
I mean,
never a fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not good for Moroccans. This is like Moroccans screwing over other Moroccans in France.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's where this type of collectivism starts to go to the bad type, in my opinion. I think there's value in us being like, hey, I really like this team, you know? And it's like, oh, why? It's like, I don't really have a freaking reason, but I just enjoy getting together and just watching the stuff. And it's fun when my team wins. That, I think, has value for humans in terms of like society and stuff and building camaraderie. But the point at which we start taking it to, you know, their victory or their loss is my victory, my loss, you know, like it says something about, you know, being American or being Muslim or something, or destroying buildings because of a loss. Like that's where it goes too far. But yeah,
Right.
what sports do you like, Armin?
Yeah. Mirjala is asking, what sports do you like? I tend to like the type of sports that is to the death, right? So
I was not expecting. Oh my god! All right, Armin.
I know we used to have those, but we don't have them anymore.
Armin's really nostalgic for the super old days. Like
no, but we had those. The Mayans had that. It's called ball game, right? Yeah. I had to ball game of Maya ball game, right? So that was like, do you guys know about that? Have you heard of that?
Yes, for sure. Because I remember there was a big controversy for a while as to whether or not the losing team lost their heads or the winning team lost their heads, and it has
No,
now.
let me tell you
Oh, go ahead,
how. Yeah. So basically, first of all, you can only use your hip to hit the ball, right? So you can see like the only way you can hit the ball is using your hip, not your hand, not your feet, but your hip. Like if the ball is on the ground, you have to get on the ground, use your hip to hit the ball and bring it up. I've seen in modern day time people playing it. It's like impossible. It's
That's
like
cool.
looks it looks
still
impossible.
at the end.
They play it without the death part.
Okay.
So, and you have to get it through this really tiny hole on the wall, very high up, right? So it's like high up, and you have to use your hip and get the ball through the hole, right? And that's how you score a goal. And the losing team gets killed. They're sacrificed, okay? And then the teams keep playing with each other, and every time one team loses, the entirety of the losing team keeps getting sacrificed. Their hearts are taken down, right? Until you go to the semifinals and then the finals. And do you know what happens to the team that defeats all the other teams and wins? Do you know what they do to that team?
Tell me.
The winning team? They sacrifice the winning team. Okay? They also kill the winning team, also gets sacrificed.
How do you win in this game? You just why would you play this?
No, because the winning team who gets sacrificed, they're supposed to. The reason why they sacrifice them and kill them is that they have another last game to play against the gods. Right? So they kill the last team to go and play against the gods. And if they win the last game against the god, they will become gods themselves.
I really like the thought. I really like the thought of like a kid having a favorite player, and that player like plays on this team and just demolishes everybody and gets to the finals and wins. And then they slaughter them. And the kid is just like, when do they come back? How do we know if they won? Like where did they win? Did they lose? Like what happened? Oh my god. Yeah. The one thing I do know is we have very, very old records of this game. I know that in the past, when I have been doing some research on Native American cultures, one of the reasons that this was so written about, and we still have those records, is because the Spanish conquistadors had never seen rubber before, because it comes from the Amazon. And so it was the first time they were excited. They come out to this thing and they see this ball, this massive ball, just bouncing around like crazy. And they kept writing about it. And they were like, oh my gosh, this ball's moving as if it's like magic or something. So that's one of the reasons we have records of this, is because they were really excited by a bouncy ball. So, I mean, bouncy balls.
Mariam is saying, I'm so happy that the God I worship never murdered anyone. Well, Mariam, actually, it's not. Mariam is a Christian. And I think you haven't read the Bible, Mariam, because your God is guilty of murdering a whole bunch of people. So, yeah. So I don't know.
If you're talking Christianity, I thought it was a different God. But yeah, if you're talking
including
that God,
a lot of children.
Yeah.
Mass genocides, but killing, like your God is angry.
Yeah.
So
also, at one point, advised Adam to let's just say have relations with animals before finally making him a woman. So weird part of the Bible too. So,
all right. Oh yeah, I saw this one. I didn't get a chance to see the reason. So the Patreon question says, what do you think is the reason for China to attack India recently in, I don't know where this place is. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to read that. Out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. I just saw that yesterday on the news. What was the reason, guys? Does anybody know? I know that they managed to get together and be like, okay, let's chill out. Like they managed to, get it to a peaceful
in the
outcome very fast. So I don't know how it started. I don't think people know yet.
In the private chat, I just put a BBC link if you want to pull that up real quick. I know that this is an area that these militaries often have a little tit for tat, and it never seems, at least, for the past, so many decades, it hasn't seemed to go into anything much bigger, which is good. But I think it's probably just that standard thing that you do when you set up a military on a border and another country sets up a military on a border. It's like every so often you just step over the line and fight a little just to show them that you can, which I don't think is a good reason, but
it doesn't give the reason.
Yeah. But the last time I remember reading something like this, it was kind of the exact same thing. Like some explosions happened, like 1 or 2 people died, and then it stopped. And I mean, I still think that's a problem, especially when people are dying. But yeah, it doesn't seem to.
Okay, seems like the India side thought that the Chinese side was okay. So India's defense minister, who addressed lawmakers in parliament on Tuesday, said an encounter started when Chinese troops encroached into Indian territory. So the Chinese troops apparently went into Indian territory, and the Indian soldiers responded, and that's how the fight started.
That is what happens.
China's foreign ministry gave no details on the incident, but said that according to their knowledge, the situation on the border with India was generally stable. Okay, just maybe they did. Maybe they haven't. Look, maybe it's not clear where the border is.
I think that's
accidentally.
That's one thing.
It?
Yes, I think that's one thing about this area is that it's not like some people are thinking, where there's really big signs and like every little spot that you could possibly be crossing is clearly well marked.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, so Higgs boson is saying maybe the reason is China's internal problems. Maybe they just crossed the border so that they could distract, but they're not covering this news that much, so I don't know why would that be the reason. Mariam is saying borders are notorious for this stuff outside of the West.
Yeah, of course, and I mean they're notorious in the West. That's what Europe's whole history is, So, like, yeah, you set up
yes, you're right.
Yeah, you set up a military on your border, and then the other country sets up a military on their border, and you poke at each other. And
Hicks is saying yes, there's no clarity on where the border is, and that's deliberate. So there's conspiracies happening here. So they're like sometimes, well, is China like really playing on this news? Like, are they using it right now?
That would be interesting for sure. Yeah. If this is being heavily covered in mainland China, then yeah, that could
because Higgs boson, your theory doesn't seem to be legit, because China immediately came and like, nope, everything is stable, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Because if they were using this for propaganda, they would be like, oh yeah, India evil, they did this, why you attack us? But they're like, they seem to be trying to.
And it's possible because, again, this is what you do in this type of saber rattling and this type of jockeying for control with militaries. Like China says, hey, the South China Sea is ours, so they start pouring sand out there to build these islands, and then the United States says, no, it's actually international water, so we're going to drive our ship through it. And you're hoping one of 2 outcomes, basically, which is, one, that this show that, hey, we're going to defend our territory, or we're going to defend international rules, that will just calm everything down in and of itself. But if not, you're hoping to provoke the other person so that they make the first punch, because then you're in self-defense, right? That's just what you do. That's the whole brinksmanship of international politics. You try and push and push and push until the point where, if the other person pushes back again, they're in a spot of you being able to say, oh my gosh, look what they did, it's so terrible. And then you get to come in there and wave the white flag and be all awesome about it, So right. I mean, hopefully it won't develop into anything further.
Yeah, I don't think neither India or China are interested in any escalation of fights right now. Like this.
No, I don't think that would be good for either of them. So
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, next question. Is Kosovo part of Serbia or independent? What's the background? There had been some protests lately. Well, apparently it depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah, that is part of it.
Yes, but you looked into this because
Yes.
we don't have much. I mean, I knew there was some disagreements over this. I didn't know the details, but you looked into it before the stream because neither of us have much knowledge about this, the Balkans and stuff like that.
I got on before the show, and Armin, was getting everything ready, and just, at one point he goes, "Hey, do you know much about Kosovo?" And I just went, "Oh, I was really hoping you knew a lot more. I just have some really basic knowledge about it." But yeah, we did. We looked further into it. So
I know there was a recent disagreement over the tension over license plates.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah. Because something about driving into the different areas and stuff. But basically, the history is that area of the world, right, with Montenegro, Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, that area of the world has gone through many changes over the years, right? All the way up until World War I and World War II, larger country, broken into smaller countries. The population,
NATO's involvement,
right? NATO
huge.
involvement.
There was a genocide. There was a major genocide,
absolutely,
which Noam Chomsky denied as a genocide denier,
which is weird, right? Which is weird. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. That's I forgot that he did that. But so with all that, to say that where that eventually led to was the population of Serbia being mostly Orthodox Christian and ethnically Serbian, and the population of Kosovo being more religiously Muslim and ethnically Albanian. And so this was kind of where lots of protests started when it came to Albanian independence and so forth. And eventually it would lead to Kosovo declaring their independence, and ultimately over 100 countries in the United Nations recognizing Kosovo as a sovereign state. The
100, I thought it was more. I thought it was the vast majority of them.
Yeah, it's like 114 was the number that I had seen, and that was all the way up in.
I thought it was only Serbia who didn't recognize Kosovo as an independent country.
So this is just what I've been looking at. It says as of September 4th, 2020, 114 UN states recognized Kosovo's independence, including all of its immediate neighbors, with the exception of Serbia. Russia and China do not recognize Kosovo's independence, but Kosovo is part of the World Bank. They are part of the International Monetary Fund. They are part of UNESCO, and they are part of intelligence sharing with Interpol.
Do they have a UN seat?
I don't think they do. I do not believe that they do. I could be incorrect on that, but I do not believe that they do. So.
Damn.
Yeah,
I did not know that. I thought they're a full-on country.
I would still say it seems more of the boxes are checked in the category for being recognized as a sovereign state. So
let me see. What do you get if you ask?
Is Kosovo a country? Just Google it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote. Is Kosovo a country?
I love that.
Okay. To date, Kosovo has been recognized by a robust majority of European states, the United States, Japan, and Canada, and by other states from the Americas. Okay, so I like it how for us to recognize you as a country, there are some countries' recognitions that matter more than other countries' recognition, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that includes Canada, which is my country. Yeah. So you being recognized as a country by, I don't know, Bangladesh is not as important as you being recognized as a country by Canada. Yep. So
we play favorites.
We play favorites. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the reason
we deem you a country, we Canadians deem you a country, Kosovo. So go enjoy being a country. Congratulations.
I think one of the reasons that Kosovo does not have a seat in the UN is specifically due to China and Russia being on the Security Council and ultimately holding vetoes. And as long as they continue to veto stuff like that, then I would assume that means Kosovo is not going to be a country.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah, D is saying this is UN failure. Yeah, this shows how countries like US and Canada or European countries matter more to your recognition as a state than the United Nations, because the United Nations hasn't even given you a seat yet.
Yep.
Yeah. But again, Higgs boson is saying something strange here. He's saying it would seem that NATO has done crazy things there. Actually, I'm very much supportive of what NATO has done. In the Balkans, I think it's the NATO has. This is one of the good examples of how foreign intervention can be good.
Yeah.
The NATO legitimately stopped a genocide. The NATO stopped the genocide.
Yeah.
Their intervention in Serbia was very much welcomed, and I think it's worldwide recognized that NATO's involvement there was one of the good things that they did. I don't know.
I was going to say I there could be stuff that I am misremembering. There could be stuff that I just have never looked into to begin with. But from what I remember, yeah, that was one of those instances where, and it wasn't that long ago. This was like 1999. So
yeah, this is me as kids. We watched this on the news.
Yeah. So again, my recollection was that it was an intervention that did ultimately, again, stop a genocide, which I think is always a good thing. I'm bold stance. I know, Armin, but I am anti-genocide. I just am. Yeah. So not a fan, but.
Yeah. Do you hear that, Noam Chomsky? It's not that hard to take.
I'm sure he watches Atheist Republic, right?
Yeah.
He's still alive, right? He's like super old, but he's still alive, right?
Yes, of course. Oh, by the way, D, it's too late for D. She's going to sleep now. What do you think about Secular Rarity? Maybe we could talk about this after the show. Maybe change the hour a little bit if you're okay, because it's a little bit late for the East Coast.
Sure. Yeah. We change the hour, we change the day. Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll talk. Are you? Okay, cool.
Or y'all can post comments below and just post a bunch of days of the week and times of the day. And we're not saying we're going to do it, but I think
just 1 hour earlier would be good. So that East Coast has more time to watch the show. Yeah,
sounds good.
Okay. We already read that one. Has the situation in Iran reached a point that we can expect defections in IRGC and among the mullahs? I mean, you don't have to expect it. It's happening. It's already happening. It depends on to what extent they have to say. So we had a whole bunch of leaked information that suggests that there's a lot of division between the people at power, but not to the point where it's safe for anybody to come out and just announce it. It seems like even if people on the top are fighting with each other, they're only doing it behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that you're not going to see that come out from behind the scenes for a very long time. Not very long, depends. Anything can change within a day or two, but so it's hard to predict. But I think, if anything, Khamenei's death is going to, at some point, make all of this come to surface. Mm-hmm. So right now, we only know, based on leaked information, that a hacker group called Black Rewards got a whole bunch of documents, a whole bunch of audio information from the higher ups in the Iranian regime out, and that was a wealth of information, and it confirmed a whole bunch of things that we had guessed before, and also added a whole bunch of stuff to it. But the whole infighting thing is pretty real and pretty significant, and they're scared. The regime is scared about. That's the main thing that is scared about, and that's why the executions are happening. Because,
Yeah, I just read something the other day. They sentenced 400 some odd people, all on the same day. The Iranian government. So, yeah.
Wait, what? What?
I'll have to double check, but I thought I read something on The Guardian that Iran had just yesterday or the day before sentenced a massive amount of people that were protesters. Let me see if I can find it.
But so far, 2 people have been executed,
Right.
but there are a lot more people on the death row to be executed, and that's why this requires a lot of information, a lot of attention and spreading on the so that the international pressure really helps, right? But defections, I think, okay, so actually I didn't answer the question because, well, I did. I kind of, okay, so the defections, you're asking specifically about 2 kinds of defections within the IRGC or among the mullahs, okay? Defections within the IRGC, no, we haven't seen that, okay? But the one that I answered within the mullahs and the religious leaders, yes, we've seen a lot of that, okay, within the mullahs, within the religious leaders. Even with these executions, a lot of the religious leaders came out and said that these executions are not religiously okay, right? They're not Sharia compliant, right? So we are seeing that among the mullahs, but we're not seeing that at all among IRGC. So let me just clarify more specifically.
That is interesting, though. I think that's going to be important to see. Yeah, I just posted in the private chat, but I'll just read some of the points. So, in comments quoted by the judiciary's Mizan online website, Al-Ghazi Mayor said 160 people were sentenced to between 5 and 10 years in prison, 80 people to 2 to 5 years, and 160 people to up to 2 years. And this is dated yesterday, and these are all related to the protests. So. Yeah, that was just something, which again, I think is exactly why, if y'all didn't see the last Atheist Republic news, I'm a huge fan of it. So please make sure you go do it. There are some important things I think that are really highlighted. And one of the things is making sure that this is not allowed. We cannot allow the Iranian government to just start in mass slaughtering people. That's not okay. So,
yeah. And your attention actually does help because a lot of people
Yes.
think that they can't do anything.
Yes.
The more this is on the news, like we have seen before, there are people that were on death row in Iran, and because of international pressure, their executions were canceled.
Yeah.
So we have a history of being able to put pressure on the regime to not execute people. So don't think like, oh, none of this has any influence. It definitely does, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Here's another question. Iran was recently voted to be removed from the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. Is this purely symbolic support, or could this have tangible benefits to help protesters on the ground in some way? It is symbolic, and it does have tangible benefits.
That's what I was
thinking. Yeah. So it is like, it's not being a UN commission on the status of women does not give you any powers that is now being taken away from you. So it doesn't reduce anything from the power of the Islamic Republic, right? So it doesn't hurt them in that way. But the symbolic effect that it has, it is significant. And it is being very much welcomed by activists in Iran because it's a huge signal to the world that everybody is taking positions against the Islamic Republic, right? Like that the world is turning. So that betting on the Islamic Republic is betting on a losing horse, right? So you can see when the world was turning on Putin, you could see the world was like slowly moving their chips away from betting on the Russian horse, right? And the people who did that late are now regretting it because you can see like the more the world turns against the regime, the less you would want to be betting on a losing horse. And this is another just signal to the world that the Islamic Republic is internationally a pariah state and the losing horse. And you might want to be be on the right side of history, right? Because it is noticed if like even right now in this United Nations Commission vote, the countries that are defending the Islamic Republic, people are taking notes, right? And it's going to have an impact in the future relationships of these countries, right?
Yep.
So Yeah, you want to see like this is a chance for different countries to show if they're on the right side of history or wrong side of history. By the way, let me just also point out that the whole idea of Iran being added to this commission to be on the UN Commission of the Status of Women was already ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the country with such poor women rights record was on this commission is embarrassing to the United Nations as an institution.
Yeah. So really, they're just correcting a mistake that they made a while ago. But yeah, again, I'd agree with that entirely. It is symbolic, but also it is something that is a clear indication to the individuals on the ground that there is support for them and there is support for their movement. And yeah, it's going to make other nations think twice about continuing to support the Iranian regime, which I think is good. I think all of that's good. So.
Yeah. Secular Sakai just gave us a $5 super chat saying Zan Zindagi Azadi. Thank you so much, Secular Sakai. And then saying woman, life, liberty. Jin Jian Azadi, that's a Kurdish version of the song, of the chant. Woman, life, liberty. And also has the lion, the sun, and the swords, which is the Shiro Khurshid symbol of Iran before the Islamic Revolution of 1979. So that's pretty cool. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Today we got a lot of super chats. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Mariam saying this is a 43-year civil war, and we are at the beginning of the end, which is why the regime is being even bloodier and more inhumane than that usually is reported. They know they're done. I mean, it's fine for us to symbolically call it a civil war, but legally that it doesn't meet the definitions of what a civil war is. But yeah, symbolically, I'm fine with calling it a civil war. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question. This is our last question. So let me actually post for our YouTube members. If anybody wants to come up, I will post. Give me a second. So I'm going to go to the community tab of our YouTube channel, and I'm going to post a link for people to come up, but only YouTube members will. Guys, if you come up, just ask your questions like really fast, to the point, very fast. So yeah, the link is now on the community tab, and only our YouTube members can see it. Okay. All right. We only gonna wait only a little bit, and if nobody comes up, we're gonna end the stream. Okay. So we're gonna only wait as long as we answer this question. Okay. Okay. So a rally recently was held in the town of Frisco. Like
San Fran, but yeah.
Frisco, okay. Frisco, Texas, against the Hindutva movement, hate being spread both online as well as in real life in both India and the USA. Okay, so the full question I couldn't fit here. Let me see what the full question was. Do you believe that such rallies will become more commonplace and more people outside India made aware of the toxicity of Hindu nationalism and other forms of extremism in India? There's a video link of what happened. Let me actually see if it's...
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this rally, which, I'm glad that there was a rally. I was surprised that there was enough individuals in that area of the United States that would be, talking about this. But I think it's great. I'm very much against hindutva, just like I'm against Christian nationalists. So it's pretty easy in my opinion. So
wait, this is an anti-hindutva rally, and they have Indian flags as well? Are these Muslim? Oh yeah, they're Muslim Indians. They have American flags. This is so okay. This is so cool. Look at this.
This is good.
Look at this crowd. This are
good.
hijabi Muslims with American and Indian flags.
Yeah.
Okay, I see Mose is here to. I'll bring you up soon, Mose. Just a second. This is pretty unique. Look at that. Hindutva. Look at this. This is Hindutva and RSS are equal to Adolf. I'm not going to say this guy's name.
Yeah, I'm
this
very
is.
happy.
I don't know why I like this. I can't explain why I like this.
Ooh.
I'm seeing Muslims. Wait, look at this little Muslim girl waving the American flag. Why is this heartwarming for me? I don't understand. Because so there's two things that two flags that a lot of Muslims think like have a lot of hatred towards, right?
Yeah.
Not all Muslims, right? One is the American. So among flags that I think Muslims show a lot of hatred towards is the American flag and the Indian flag.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like little Muslim girl here waving American flag, and a whole bunch of other Muslims there waving the Indian flag.
And some of these signs I think are really good. So for instance, that one in the back above the speaker's head says Hindus are our friends and family, and then underneath it says not hindutva. And then the sign next to that says Hindus and Muslims are with justice. Hindus and Muslims are with Christians. I think those messages are good messages.
Okay, I support this. I support this. This is not an anti-Hindu rally. This is specifically saying like they're showing their support for India, for America, for Hindus, and specifically anti-hindutva.
Yep.
This is pretty good.
I agree. This is to me, unless there is something that we don't know about. This was funded by some, Terry, or whatever. But barring anything like that coming out with credible evidence, this to me seems like exactly the type of rallies we want, right? This is, there's a sign that says, "Don't bulldoze secularism." It says, "Indian Constitution supports secularism. Don't bulldoze secularism," next to a sign that says Hindus and Muslims are with Christians. I'm in favor. I'm in favor.
This is really good. This is really good. And while you were saying that, this little Muslim girl just changed her waving the American flag because she also wants to wave around the India flag, and she went from waving the U.S. flag to the India flag.
I love this. I love
this. This is so cute. I don't know why I love this so much. This is the most heartwarming thing I've ever seen.
I agree. This seems awesome to me. This seems awesome. I'm glad that this has happened in the United States, in Texas. I'm happy about this. So for a lot of reasons, I'm glad. And recently, within the past like 6 months, 8 months or something, there was a huge scandal where the FBI had raided a bunch of Hindu temples because there was all types of bad things that were happening. If I remember correctly, it was slavery based on caste system and stuff. And those organizations that they ended up raiding were very, Hindutva related, tied to and stuff. And so, this stuff is growing in the United States, and we shouldn't give this a pass just because it's not the thing that we know about, right? Like, that's bad stuff too. Hindu nationalism in the United States is bad, just like Christian nationalism is. So I'm glad this is getting more attention.
Let's just listen a little bit. I see Mose and Higgs Boson and PK are waiting to talk to us.
Our country stands for. And as our dear sister was mentioning, Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, भाई लोग, अपने हिंदू भाई लोग, अपने Sikh community के भाई लोग, यहाँ पे मैं बहन लोगों को भी देख रहा हूँ.
Okay, speaking Indian, so I don't know what they're talking about. All right. Let's go and bring Mose up here. Oh, by the way, before that, like 1 second, we got a new member. Lawyer Surush just became a member. Thank you so much. So thank you for that. Now let's bring up Mose. Okay, hi Mose.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, big fan. Armin, the ever role model. We'll try to learn.
Aw, thank
Armin,
you.
A few points. I just want to talk to you guys about FIFA. I don't know if you guys watch John Oliver.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys watch that? But
I
he's
think Secular Rarity has.
they're very-
Okay.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. I'm also familiar with a lot of
they're
the
just
terrible things.
basically hijacking the sport. Like I play
Yeah.
soccer every day, and my friends play for the national team, and we always have this argument. But because they are part of FIFA, I guess,
Mhm.
because they're part of the national team, and it's always a big problem. They're like this is like kind of mafia. If you want
Mhm.
to play soccer at a high level, you have to accept this mafia.
Yeah.
And what are they doing? They're doing slavery. They're promoting tyrannical regimes. Russia, Qatar. This is where they're holding the World Cups. I mean,
Saudi Arabia is next.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
to stand up to these people. This is the worst types of people, and they're making it. They're making it okay for us to have that sort of.
So
Yeah,
what's the
yeah.
question? I don't understand the question.
Oh, Mike, I have a few questions. First of all, I'm hearing myself somehow.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
here.
a bit of an echo.
I wonder what.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, yeah. Okay, good.
Sweet.
Yeah, my
Okay.
first question was, what do you think of Jordan Peterson? I was watching his like talking about globalists. My brother really follows him, and I'm just
Huh.
and he has kind of I guess emulating him, and it just kind of makes me kind of uncomfortable. I saw he like when people talk about globalists, that just gives me what is globalist? I don't even know what that means. Now Jordan Peterson.
Globalist is like an anti-Semitic. It's basically anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
Kanye
Um,
West and all of those guys, they're all going down this hole, right? And now it's my brother next, probably.
Mm.
so globalist is code for a cabal. Okay, I can't say this on YouTube. Like,
Okay, I get it.
yeah. It's an anti-Semitic trope of people who are controlling everything, right, in the
Wow.
world.
That's
Right.
so Jordan Peterson. Did you ever follow him? What do you think? Is he just a
So
cop?
he's saying this unknowingly that is part of that trope. I think I don't think
I
he
see.
himself is anti-Semitic himself directly, right?
Yeah.
But what I can see about Jordan Peterson himself is that he is somebody that is very smart and with like very good at making dumb arguments seem very intelligent, right? So
Wow.
using very and smart people are good at that, right? So somebody who takes like if you take what he's saying and take away like because he uses some very words that seem
Precise.
very heavy and philosophical and academic, but
I'm pers-
once you clean it from those words and you use the more simple alternatives, and once you a sentence that he says that is seems very complicated, once you simplify exactly what he's saying and then you read it again, you realize that it's completely idiotic, right? Becomes very obvious that it's idiotic,
Yeah.
right? But with the flowery academic philosophical language, and also by making it more complicated than it needs to be, it sounds very intelligent, right? Also, whenever another thing that he does is that whenever he is being cornered to clarify something that is very easy to clarify, he basically, to defend himself against that, he starts playing around with definitions of words, right? And he makes words that are very he starts questioning very clear and obvious definitions of words, and he kind of makes it seem like it's confusing, even though it's not confusing at all, even though we have a general agreement and understanding of what these words mean. He tries to make it so that no, actually these words have actually very complicated and there's disagreement over what they're meaning. And he does what, and when he does that, he's basically using a postmodernist strategy when it comes to the lack of clarity over definitions of words, which is kind of hypocritical because this is a
Hates
person
postmodernism.
who hates postmodernism, but he's then giving into postmodernist
Right.
tactics.
How do you come up with this, Armin? I'm confused. Do you read about this stuff, or this is your analysis? Where do you get your brain from? Like, can you teach us? Like, how do you come up? You just came up with a beautiful critique of this guy, and I don't know how you do it. You just came
I
up with
don't
it on the spot.
I don't know. I mean, I listen to other smart people.
No, but I feel so stupid when I talk to you. I love you. Thank you. So
No,
much.
no.
What about you, Secular Rarity? You agree pretty much with Jordan Peterson and his followers? So, it's not that he's been captured by his followers. It's more that he was always kind of a, kind of a shady kind of character, it seems like.
So Peterson's work when it comes to his actual field of study, which is psychology, is not garbage. That being said, I also would probably argue that it's not anything that's like revolutionizing the field either. I'm not a psychologist, so I
Gotcha.
don't get to make that determination, but the other psychologists do. But when it comes to those grandiose points that he tries to make, I totally agree with Armin. He purposefully tries to be confusing, and he purposefully tries to just kind of muddy the waters a little so that people can still hold on to what I definitely consider to be bad beliefs. So he talks, especially lately, he's talked a lot about like spiritualism and like, what the metaphysical substrate of all the essence of supernaturality and just bullshit. And it's like you put 4 or 5 multi-syllable words next to each other and you just sound smart no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, truly, when I started listening to other individuals who, like, for instance, are neuroscientists, and Jordan, yeah, him and other people as well, that they're this is their field of study, and he starts going into those fields and starts kind of waxing philosophically on it, and then those people come along and say like that's just total BS, like Patricia Churchland, listening to her talk about how memories are stored in the brain, and then listening to Jordan Peterson talk about it, you'll be like, oh, he literally just does not know. He just literally is ignorant of this, which isn't necessarily a problem. We're all ignorant of stuff. It's just that he very confidently expresses that he's not ignorant when he is.
What would you tell to young men who are, there's a lot of, I hear this a lot. Oh, young men are in crisis, can't express themselves. And so they're looking for sort of kind of like some role model. What would you tell them? Do you think any advice for young men looking for some? They need to find better role models or
for
better
sure.
ideas.
I think that's one of the easy answers, is that there are people out there who are better role models, whether they're individuals that are currently alive or whether they're individuals from the past. There are better arguments. There are better understandings of the world. I would also say that I think that narrative, especially in the more Western liberalized countries, about there's a crisis in masculinity and stuff, I also would say to young men, other than just, hey, there are some role models here, some of those places or whatever, I would also say, take a deep fucking breath, because the sky is not falling. We're starting to have a shift in society where we on a global level are trying to be more inclusive. And yeah, that means that you, as the rich white guy, don't always get to fucking be in charge. And gosh, that sucks, doesn't it? But it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
I do think that there are, it's fair to say that a lot of young men have been shamed or because of their masculinity.
I don't think so. Who are these young men that you're meeting that are in this boat other than incels? Because I know a lot of young men, and I've grown up in this culture, and right. I don't know. Now that's anecdotal. I get that, but that's what I'm saying is I don't know anybody that is around me in Tennessee of the big old masculine. We drive our trucks. Woohoo, dude!
I think even what you're saying is part of that, though, secular rarity, because we don't have that attitude towards that dismissing attitude towards feminine expression of femininity.
I think we do. I think it exists.
Like what? But I think if I know, but if you did that right now,
I would probably get more hate for it. Yeah,
you would get hate for it, right?
But that's just because people are inconsistent.
I know, but like I think shaming masculinity has become more normalized,
is more acceptable. Right? Absolutely.
Right.
But I think the argument that there is some crisis in young men in Western liberalized countries is definitely an exaggeration.
I don't know if it's a crisis. I just do think that it's okay. We do need some correction over, just like how we like to celebrate femininity.
For sure.
Okay. We want to show some outlets for men to, or even anybody, okay,
I completely
to
agree.
enjoy masculinity.
I completely
right?
agree.
To not shame men for enjoying the masculine side of themselves and having
Yes.
masculine role models.
Yes.
Right?
One of the problems is that so much of that masculinity for so long that has been the driving, give the next generation this knowledge. A lot of that has been harmful, both to
Right.
masculine individuals and non-masculine individuals. And we're in
but a lot of people on the left have, instead of providing an alternative, healthy way of expressing that, have shamed that outright
and just said get rid of it entirely. And I agree, that is a problem and that is too far.
Right.
There are healthy versions of masculinity, just like there are toxic versions of femininity. Absolutely,
Right.
both ways.
Right.
And it's about being consistent on that and actually trying
And
to find what those are. What
and
those
it's
healthy
true that
versions
the
are.
left doesn't, the tolerant liberal,
They often go way too far.
No, it's that they don't have good role models, like, or
Sure.
famous role models, right?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
with their right has seen a gap, and they have provided role models, and they're horrible, right? They're like Tate or Jordan Peterson, okay? But let's also criticize the left. Okay, maybe you don't have horrible role models because you don't have role models. You don't have any role models, right? Like, so I think there's a gap that needs to be filled. I think we need.
I completely agree with that, and I would say that again, there are some places to go. Even right now, at this whole time, I've been trying to think of like just two really good examples, and I am coming up blank, which is a problem. I think that's a problem that we don't on the more liberal side of
You
the
could have
scale.
had Johnny Depp, but there you know.
Well, yeah, maybe not so much.
But he liked to get drunk too much.
Yeah, we do. We need to come up with a list. That's what we need to do.
Skeptic is a good guy. Armin, how come you don't talk to Skeptic anymore? What's going on?
Wait, let me address the super chat. So Anish has just gave us a super chat saying Jordan Peterson's favorite food is word salad. Actually, I wouldn't agree with you because he only eats steak. So
that's right. He only eats meat. Yeah.
Only steak.
Great.
Guys, the amount of stuff my brother comes up with, he's like, Jordan Peterson, this is what he says, steak only. He was only eating, my brother had bought, his fridge was full of meat. He wouldn't touch vegetarian.
That's horrible.
You need to hear his daughter, Jordan Peterson's daughter, Michaela, explain her story and process, because it is the best example of cognitive dissonance I've seen in a while, where she's like, my dad did this diet for a while and I have an autoimmune disease, which she does. And I'm not like making fun of that or anything. I'm just saying, she said, I have an autoimmune disease. My dad does this diet. I tried the diet. All of the symptoms from my autoimmune disease went away for like a year. Then I got pregnant, still on the diet. All my symptoms came back. I still have all my symptoms. I'm still doing the diet. So it was
that's okay. So here's the thing. This is the best way for you to show your brother, okay, that Jordan Peterson is full of crap, okay? Everything shows, okay, that eating vegetables is good for you, okay? Like, there's no question, okay? If I am sure of anything, okay, is that eating vegetables improves your health. There's like no doubt. There's no science in the goddamn world that will tell you otherwise. Okay?
I mean, you need to tell us your diet, by the way. You look great. I don't know what you're doing, but
he's working on a cookbook. He's been telling
I eat vegetables.
You eat a lot of vegetables, don't you? You look great. Instagram.
But show me the science that tells you that eating a fucking carrot is bad for you. Jordan Peterson legit tells you that if you chewing on a fucking carrot is harmful to you.
Compared to red meat cooked with salt. And that's it.
I'm okay with red meat, by the way, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
but just red meat?
Yes,
just red meat compared to the vegetables?
He's legit telling you eating spinach is harmful to your fucking health. This man is insane.
He does say
you know what? He's just another cult leader looking to make money. You know,
I think
so many of them. I mean, I was part of the Muslim cult for 26 years of my life. I was part of the monarchy cult for 2 years. I was part of, most people are trying to recruit us as a cult member, and it's so hard to fight them because Like not everybody is like Armin. Like he actually tries to not have you follow him as a cult member, as a cult leader. He actually tries to get rid of you, not to become holy in any way. But a lot of people out there, it's our nature to either want to be cult members or cult leaders. It's just such a massive genetic glitch. I feel like.
I think Jordan Peterson realized that there was a group of rabid fans that he could capitalize on.
Guys,
And
we
I
have
think-
two more people.
Oh,
so
yeah. I'll shut up.
Mose, just ask one more question and
Why
make it
aren't you
short.
talking to Skeptic anymore? I'm very confused. I used to listen to you guys on Instagram, Clubhouse. You guys had you're not.
Because Atheist Republic, because I wanted to continue, okay.
Okay.
Because but like Atheist Republic, you see the Republic in the Atheist Republic part, right?
Yeah.
So it was a team decision, okay, and my team, so the team decided that
That's true.
it is not within the interest of the Atheist Republic as a team, and because I don't make decisions individually myself, and I have to listen, I want to be a team player, and I listen to my team. I give in to their.
Okay, listen, team. Just saying, he has a lot of followers. They could have had good conversations, and a lot of those people could have become your members as well. So you're missing out on a potential people. Like I love his humor, and I love your rational way of thinking and your humor as well. So I think that it goes both ways. Sometimes we're scared because we're like, oh, these guys are gonna steal our fans or whatever. If that's your thought,
No, that's not the reason.
that's not the reason.
That's-
Okay, just maybe the
yeah.
way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time,
Yeah,
guys.
it's not at all about like gaining fans or losing fans. That is not at all the part of the decision making process. Okay, it's about different people thinking something is moral or not moral. It's more about that, right? So it's not about people are like, oh, we're losing fans or that was not part of the calculation.
Okay, keep doing what you're doing. Always here
Okay.
to support. If you're Persian, let's send some money to those families in Iran who are striking. Right? We can.
Yeah.
I sent $100 to 10 families in Iran, and I hope everybody who are striking in my city where I'm from.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and
Good job, man.
yeah,
I
whoever is
appreciate that.
striking, just send them some money. Send that out there. That's a good idea, I think. Take care. Al.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, and thank you for being a member. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was always a member. Just like I don't know what happened, and then
Okay.
my credit card expired. So take care, guys.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Bye.
I saw.
All right.
Just real quick, I saw somebody in the chat. Callow mentioned that Inuits have a total meat and fish diet, and so just because I thought that was interesting and I didn't know, I wanted to go check. And apparently, about 20% of the Inuit diet consists of plants and berries like blueberries, blackberries, and cranberries. So that's interesting. Yeah, fun little
one
facts
of
today.
one of the most important markers of health is fiber.
Mhm.
Okay. Last time I checked, steaks don't have fiber. Okay, so there's that. Also, even if you find people in history that only eat meat, okay, that doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure if they, chewed on a carrot once, it would be beneficial to those people who only ate meat. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Higgs boson.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Oh, hello. Good evening, Armin and Secular Rarity.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I have two questions, basically one on Iran and one on Russia. So, what exactly is the role of these guys like Mohammed Marandi and because I am seeing on their Facebook post like they are posting photos of Detroit police cracking on, I guess, BLM protesters or something like that, and trying to do a gotcha to the West, like, hey, Detroit does not exist in Iran. Uh, Look what's happening in your country and things like that. And are these guys like, what is these guys' role, and are they like deliberately trying to play blind, or something like that?
So you have to clarify. Mohammed Morandi is a propagandist, right? But for the Islamic Republic, who kind of he does his job very well, right? He's very good in coming up with lines and arguments that tries to make the Islamic Republic look good and make the West evil, and always his go-to fallacy is whataboutism, right? Always tries to highlight the evils of the West every time you talk about something about the Islamic Republic of Iran. So what is your question about him exactly?
So does no one challenge him? Like he does goes to news programs or something. Like
Yeah.
is he never challenged that? Yeah, okay, West is bad, and what's happening in your country, and it's like everything is fine in his country. Is that his standard answer?
He does sometimes acknowledge that there are some problems within Iran. Like if he's very smart at doing propaganda for the Islamic Republic, right? And any good propagandist would not knows not to deny all and every problem in Iran, right? He just tries to downplay how significant they are, right? And he just like, obviously every country has its problem, we have ours, and we're trying to fix it, but he doesn't deny their existence, he just downplays them. But I do see that, even I do see when he gets invited on like Al Jazeera or CNN or other places, I do think he is challenged by other people. I just haven't seen anybody be effective at challenging him. He's really good at what he does. Like, he is, as much as I hate him, right? You have to admit the man knows how to do propaganda. Like, he is very good. Like, it's frustrating how good he is. Don't you agree?
Yeah. So basically, he's of extreme value to the Islamic Republic regime.
Yes.
Like he's like they're getting everything from him. Yeah.
He's, yeah. Let me actually bring his pictures.
I feel like the prize of like being really good at propaganda is never one of those prizes you want, you know? Like this guy was super, super great at just ruining every party they came to. It's like, oh, that's bad.
That's him. Like, he constantly gets invited as the Iranian side to many different shows, and he's really good. Like, this man is the best propagandist the Islamic Republic of Iran has. Nobody is as good as arguing for in defense of the Islamic Republic as this guy. I've never seen anybody. His English is also flawless.
Yeah, I think that's the one that sells the most. Like someone going to the leftist and the tankies guys and like doing putting their arguments so well. I think that's what has been appealing, because if we just listen to those guys, like we think like Iran, what's happening in Iran is just totally normal. Like it's not really as bad as it sounds. But then I'm hearing like, okay, children, really intelligent people like are just being like executed like this, and oh my god, like it then it feels to me like, oh, the Iran is not a normal regime, it's a crazy regime. And
Yeah.
yeah,
When you talk to him, the way he describes the Islamic Republic, and then when you go look at what the reality is, it's just like he was talking about a completely different country. Like, it's like,
yeah,
you get a
because
completely different.
I didn't follow the stories for the last week, and when I saw last week you showing with Susanna showing everything the story, I was shocked. Like, okay,
Yeah.
the things are really bad.
Yeah.
I actually would want to move on to Russia also, because
Wait. Before you go to Russia, Mariam is saying his English is flawless. That's the only reason these dumb Western outlets keep asking him back. Thank God they have stopped recently. Yeah, I think like one good thing the protesters have done is that they have made defending Islamic Republic so unpopular that this man might get invited less on different outlets, because it just looks so bad for right now to be on the defending side of the Islamic Republic. So
Let's
I
hope.
hope he gets invited less. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay. Go
Oh,
on.
people don't realize. Okay, actually, this is kind of similarities between Russia and Iran, because with Iran also, like, Khamenei is getting old, and there are questions on what will happen if he dies and so on. And even
Right.
with Russia, like, Putin is also supposed to go at some point. I wanted to ask, like, is there any chance? How would Chechnya and like other provinces of Russia? Can we expect something really bad, like a civil war after, like, Putin goes away? Because it's pretty much possible that Chechnya might want to separate once Putin goes away. Because right now there is a deal between Kadyrov and Putin, which might not hold if Putin is no longer there. It would seem like.
I don't know. I don't know how strong the Chechen rebels are, military-wise, compared to Chechen's military right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's really hard um, to do that. Oh my God, we just got $100 super chat. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much, Lilipat. I don't know why you're so generous to us. Thank you so much. This is really helping us, because right now we're actually in the red when it comes to finances. So your super chats today might actually just covered everything that we are in the red this month. So yeah,
Thank you.
Lilipat just gave us another $100 super chat saying, "Thank you again for shining your spotlight on these important issues." Well, seriously, Lilipad, I really do think, like, this month was Atheist Republic was in the red, and I think your super chats today just brought us from in the red to the black. So thank you so much for that. That's
Thank you.
amazing support. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just real quick on the Russia thing. I think one of the determining factors for whether or not we start to see kind of a breakup throughout some of those satellite states, I think, is going to be whether or not there is an individual that has the ability to unify the people in the same way that Putin has, right? This is what we've seen in a lot of regimes over the years, where a strong individual is able to bring these disparate communities together and hold that tense alliance for a long time. But the moment that person's gone, the empire collapses.
And that's the problem, right?
And so if there is another individual that is going to be able to step up into that vacuum and hold that same, charismatic and powerful position, then I think we're less likely to see that. But I don't think there is that person. I don't think there's that person underneath Putin. And I think the reason, in part, is specifically because he's designed his government like that. He doesn't want anybody else that has even close to the type of total control that he does. And so we'll have a battle for leadership. We'll have infighting for leadership is what I think will most likely result.
Yeah,
So.
Because Russia reached a point that because they do supply India with a lot of tanks, and what India realized that when India gave some of their tanks, which are theirs, which belong to India, they just gave them to Russia to repair them for maintenance because they have the main company. It turns out Russia was using those tanks to Ukraine without India's knowledge, and those were India's tanks. Like, they were given to maintain and give it back, but they were secretly using those tanks in Ukraine, and India was like, "What the hell are you doing? We gave those tanks for maintenance. Why are you pushing them all in Ukraine?" And that happened.
I'd be upset about that too.
Guys, PK has also been waiting for a long time, so we should move on. But I just wanted to mention, while we were talking, Lilipad just gave us another $100 super chat. Jesus Christ, what's happening? Thank you so much, Lilipad.
Oh my God.
Saying no more in the red. Thank you so much. Amazing. This is crazy.
You made a lot this week.
Yeah, guys, like, this is like, for a channel the size of ours, this is not normal. So thank you so much for all this love. We have a small community, but it's a very supportive community. So thank you, especially Lilipad is more supportive than anyone else. Thank you so much. All right, go on.
I'll give it off to PK if he's waiting. Nice talking to you guys again.
Yeah.
Did we answer your questions? Was it okay?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thank you so much for being a supporting member, Higgs Boson. And thank you so much for also being a patron. Thank you so much for your questions
problem.
every week. They're some of the best questions. All right.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thanks a lot.
all right. All right. Let's go to PK. Hi, PK. PK. I don't have PK. We don't have your audio. Are you speaking?
Yeah, you were muted. Now you're not, but we can't hear
now
you.
Now we're hearing some weird cracking noises. PK. Okay. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. I don't know what that is.
It sounds
but-
like your mic is rubbing up against something or landing
Yeah.
or
Oh. Okay, PK.
try one.
PK.
Can you hear
One
me?
more time.
Oh,
Yes, there we go.
hey!
Fixed. Okay, there we go.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I could have waited another hour or two. I'm just working, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had two questions. I'll start with secular rarity. My question was that so I came to the US like early this year, and so like I was in the downtown areas, and like I saw a lot of like homeless people and all.
Mhm.
What I noticed was, I don't know if I'm just being prejudiced or what, but when I see homeless people here in the US compared to the homeless people I see in India, I see the homeless people not very, like I'm not scared of them. I'm not like threatened by them. They
Mm.
just do this. Like then their like huts are small, like in their slums, and they're just doing their thing. Here, the homeless people, I see them like they're not well. But why do you think? So what I was talking to my friend here, and he told me like there was a huge rise in homelessness
Mhm.
in the last decade or so. So I was just we were having a discussion. I wanted to know from like, do you know why suddenly there's a massive increase in homelessness in the
Yeah.
last decade?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it can't suddenly be everyone losing their minds in the last decade or something, right?
Yeah, so one of the big things for sure that is problematic in terms of the rise of the homeless population in the United States is large architectural and building companies buying up all the land that they can and raising the prices. So, for instance, this is a huge problem in a couple of different cities that I'm familiar with. Atlanta, Georgia is a really good example. For instance, what happened was businesses started moving to that area decades ago, which attracted individuals to work. But not all of those jobs that were provided by the new companies in the area were allocated to the individuals that lived in the area. A lot of times when companies move their headquarters, they move their people with them. And they do that on purpose because they already have people and they already know how much they're paying them, right? If they have to go hire new people, those people could be worse. They could have to pay them more, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things that happens when a business does that is that the property value increases for various reasons in that area. And the companies that have the ability to buy out that land will do so. And the companies that specifically have the ability to buy out the older properties that are not well taken care of and fix them up will do that. And that's what happens more than anything. So that's a huge part of it. There also, it's worth pointing out that the United States, specifically, because this was not a crisis really in the rest of the world, but the United States over the last 15 to 20 years has had a huge problem with opioids. And in such a capacity that it has also caused this to increase as well. I'm sure, PK, you probably at least have heard that the healthcare in the United States isn't super great. And so that
Yeah.
that compounds on the problem as well. If we have an individual that's incapable of paying for their rent now because prices have just gotten jacked up because a business has moved into the area and not provided jobs for anybody, but just moved people from, wealthier parts of the country to this, a less economically advantaged area. Well, now we have an individual that can't pay their rent, but does have easy access to hardcore hallucinogens or psychotropic drugs of some kind. And we don't have any systems in place to take care of them or give a crap about them. And so what happens? And the answer is we see a rise in homeless population and we see a rise in individuals abusing these substances. And funny enough, not saying it's a one-to-one correlation, just mentioning that it is the case that the areas that you tend to see more of those bad things are also the areas that tend to be more highly evangelical Christian. Just pointing that simple fact out about math and maps and demographics. So again, not saying that the Christian areas
That's
are
interesting.
guaranteed
Okay.
to be the worst areas, but there's a really, really interesting correlation when you see that.
So they become homeless,
Wait,
and
second-
then they become addicted.
We should go to the second question because we have like
I'm sorry.
one more minute.
Second question was more like a fun thing. So there was a question of AI, right, earlier. So do you think it's a problem that all jobs are getting automated, or you're all for it?
I think long term it's good. Short term it's bad.
Yeah.
So, short answer. Yeah.
And I think exactly what kind of we were saying earlier about the AI art and stuff, where you were like, I think if AI displaces all jobs, that's better than AI displacing some jobs. But I don't think AI is going to displace all jobs at once. I think it is probably going to be a piecemeal thing, right? But yeah, I think in the long term, yes, freeing up individuals to not have to spend their whole day pushing a button is a good thing. It's a good thing that we automate as much as we possibly can and allow people to do things that are more meaningful and valuable.
Yeah, I think the same. The transition will be the issue, but the final stage will be better.
Agree.
Just one more thing.
Imagine a world where we are post-work.
Oh my gosh.
Post-work.
Did you hear about the nuclear fusion thing?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Post-work, and like imagine a world where we don't have, because of fusion, we don't have energy problems.
Yeah.
We don't have a pollution problem.
No scarcity.
And no scarcity, like abundance for everybody. There's no shortage of food, no shortage of water. You don't need to work, and no shortage of energy. And energy is created in a very green way.
The fusion thing, which has gotten a decent amount of attention, I would still say has not nearly gotten the attention it deserves, because that is ultimately, this is going to be something that 150 years from now, fourth graders in their textbook will have that day written down. That will be a question on a test so that you graduate from that grade, because that's how important ultimately we will find this.
There will also be no wars. Like if
what
we
would
have
we fight
abundance,
over?
there's nothing to fight over. If
Right.
you have absolute abundance of energy and food and water, there's no fighting anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like people are not working, nobody's hungry, there's no diseases, and the environment is safe because energy is being made in a clean way. That's the future, hopefully, that we're looking at right now.
And because we have peace and stability and economic security worldwide, nobody will have to waste their time praying. So,
Yeah, I want to talk about a lot about energy, but I guess you guys are out of time. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, yep. We could talk about that next week. But we just got another super chat today. $20 super chat by Secular Sakai. Jesus Christ, what's happening today?
Awesome.
Secular Sakai is saying, keep doing what you guys do. One day, openly atheists and irreligious secular groups will be a much larger and very crucial political force. Thank you. And with the emoticons of the Atheist Republic, the lion, the circle, and the horse. That's really cute. I always like to say that. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Wow, today was such a good day for Atheist Republic. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you as well.
Good night.
All right. Bye. Okay, everybody. I was almost speaking Persian for a second. I was going to say, Bacha like the Susanna, which is like, guys, don't forget to like. I don't know why I almost skipped to Persian for a second. Guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification, and please leave a comment once the stream is over. That all of that helps. Okay, I know we got a lot of financial support today, which is amazing. But if you can't support us financially, you could also just like the video. That really helps grow the channel. It is supporting us financially without you spending any money. So please like the video. That also very, very helps a lot. Okay. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, we're good to go.
We got news coming up right here.
Yes.
You know, Susanna always brings the best stuff. Secular Jihadist, and it's subscribe to the newsletter if you're not, because you get Armin's book and you get the safe for work versions of the very, very sexy blasphemous art. If you want the not safe for work versions, then become a patron. It's very easy.
Yes. Yes, guys, you get our blasphemous, sexy blasphemous art
It is
for free if you are subscribed to our newsletter. So make sure you do that.
And
All right.
honestly, even with the clothing, like there are some of them
They're
that
still
with the
sexy.
clothes, it's even sexier for me. Like it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
because
yeah.
the it's really hot. It's really good.
Yeah.
Really great artist. Really great artist.
All right, guys. See you guys soon. Bye. Mwah.